I want to welcome you to this edition again of Question and Answer from Praying Parent Prayer Group Christian Ministry. I am Ken Dolumo Benjamin. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad to have you around. We began the last episode on why there are so many wars in Christian marriages, silent, ongoing wars in Christian homes. Even though outwardly they appear loving, they appear together, they go to church, same church, even get involved in many activities in the church. Yet back at home, there are many troubles, many silent wars. They are actually growing apart and living practically apart. And the bedroom is ultimately affected, and nothing is practically happening in some homes, though outside they look wonderful. And why is it like that? And lastly, we profile the issue of spiritual activities on how it can impact on our family life if not done with wisdom, and if we are not careful, we will take careless decisions and we take unwise decisions. And today we are trusting God to continue from that. Can we just pray? Father, thank you for this morning. Blessed be your name. I pray you speak to us again and make our life beautiful and wonderful, and help our family, help our marriages, help our spiritual life as well. Thank you, our Father. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Today we'll be shedding light on another issue that can cause the silence wars that are going on in homes and family. And that is the issue of being concerned and worried over much. Concerned and worried over much. And I want to read from Psalm 55 verse 22. Psalm 55 verse 22 says, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and it shall sustain thee. It shall never suffer the righteous to be moved." Cast your body upon the Lord, and we sustain thee. In the New Testament, it says, "With all things, in all things, give thanks, and cast your body on the Lord, for he cares for you." Now, the single life is a beautiful life. Before you marry, you are a happy person. Most single persons are happy, either men or women, man or woman, they are happy. And that's why the beautiful smile and the happiness in them attract the opposite sex. If you see a sad, unhappy woman, who will marry her? If you see a sad, unhappy man, he won't be handsome, and nobody want to be involved with such a person. A sad and angry looking man, no, nobody want to be involved with him. But when you see a happy person, you will naturally get attracted to the person. So many and most single persons are happy people, and they smile and they are happy going. And that's why before you know it, they fall in love, and a family is ensured. Before you know it, they are married. But as soon as marriage takes place and the burden of responsibility start falling on the married life, the new couple now having issues how to do with finance. Now the reality of life starts setting in, and the reality of the weaknesses of each other start opening up. And sometimes difficulty starts setting in because the devil hates family to start with, and devil is against all families, all marriages, irrespective of where or who is involved. Devil don't like marriages, and therefore there are trouble here and there. And it's just not Christian marriages alone. Practically all families are involved. And before you know it, the once happy and easygoing and joyful man or woman that just married of late begin to see life as being excessively difficult. And before you know it, there's a voice in his or her hearing or in her thinking that's telling him or her, your situation is peculiar, and that the problem is just on you alone. And instead of praying and cast the body on the Lord, he puts everything on his or her head alone. R is to pray, God is to answer. Doesn't matter how long it takes to answer. Sometimes it's not because we have sinned. It's not because we have done evil. It's not because God is punishing us that deny us of answer. We all have answered to prayer that are yet to come. As I'm talking to you now, there are prayer I've been praying for years, and yet no answer has taken place. Does that mean God is not answering the prayers? No. Does that mean I should feel sad and lose my joy? No. And that's the problem of many homes, especially women in particular. And some men too are likewise, but women are more affected. Before you know it, the woman carried the whole thing on her head. She fasts every day. She prays from one mountain to the other, from one church to the other, from one program to the other, running around from pillar to post, looking for solution to the problem that she thinks she's facing. And before you know it, she thinks her problem is special or peculiar or unique to ourselves, not knowing that we are all facing the same thing in different homes, in different places. Just that there are no place to displace the problem. So you won't know that somebody is even having a bigger one than yours. And so because you put the whole thing in your head and you think yours is peculiar and particular, and you think the devil is specially on you. No, the devil is affecting is after all marriages, not your own alone. So be happy. And because you think yours is on you alone and you put the whole thing on your head, you get burdened and you get tired from the burden that you put on your head. And because you get tired from the burden that you put on your head, before you know, you are looking tired and looking dejected and looking unwanted and looking withdrawn. And before you know it, you are worried and concerned excessively much over things you could not help. If you can help it, there's no point worrying about it. Just go ahead and solve the problem. And because the problem is beyond your power, beyond your strength as at this time, and you can't solve it, you can only pray. And when you are praying, leave it to God. If you like an answer, if he doesn't answer, that is his own case to do. Ours is to pray. God is to answer. If he can answer now, we do it. If he can answer now, we wait for God. And God can answer in different ways, not the way we put our mind to it. And because we think our problem is unique and our answers to our problem is not coming forth, and begin to remember those days of those sins of old and things that God has even forgotten, we put them on our head, thinking we are being punished for them. And because we think we are being punished for them, you become overmuch worried, overmuch concerned, and before you know it, the man or the woman become ugly to himself or to herself and to the spouse as well because of loss of physical strength. When you are emotionally derailed, emotionally disturbed, it affects your physical strength. When you are emotionally down and you are worried too much and you think your problem is unique and in your own head alone, you become exhausted. And that's why I say, cast your burden upon the Lord, lest you become exhausted. And that's one of the major reasons why there are silence war in many Christian marriages. A partner or both of them sometimes get worried over things they can't just help. And before you know it, a once happy woman becomes sad and frowning all her days. A once happy man becomes sad and uninviting and frowning all day long. But that is the place he or she become ugly, unwanted, unattractive. And a man that marry you for your smile and marry you for your happiness, for the joy he can see in you, suddenly saw the other side of you and he has done all he could to help and he couldn't help. At worst, he put it aside and he just forget he has a wife. And the same thing and the same thing also for the man. So when you put too much on yourself, you become ugly. Not only ugly to outside person that's looking at you, even to your own spouse. You may be eating, yeah, you are looking lean. You may be walking, yeah, you look as if you are not walking. You put clothes on yourself, and the clothes is not even staying in your neck. It look one side, one unattractive. And when you become unattractive, there is something in every one of us that our spouse saw before saying, I agree to marry you. There's some level of beauty the man saw in you. There's some level of handsomeness the man saw in you. And that the woman saw in you rather. And once that level of beauty or handsomeness is no longer there, you're just putting so much on your head that you're not looking ugly to the person. You become sexually unattractive to your spouse. And when you become sexually unattractive to your spouse, it's no longer attracted towards you. Sexual drive become lower and lower, and before you know it, even reach zero and negative. And sexuality become nothing. And once the man is no longer attracted to you, or you to the man, before you know, you lose interest in one another. And once there's loss of interest in one another, talking and communication drop down. Because sex and communication going hand in hand. You can't communicate when there are no intimate relationship. And you can't communicate, you can't have intimate relationship without communication. And these are deeply affected once our physical look, our physical appearance is badly affected because of the emotional load we put on our own head, thinking our problem is unique. Sir, your problem is not unique. Ma, you're not the only one there. There are many people like you outside there, even worse, and they are living their lives. So that we have problem, money is thrown in the pocket, or things are not going well with the family, or things are not doing well as we ought to, it's not enough reason to abandon ourselves or to abandon yourself. If you abandon yourself, your physical beauty is affected, Your physical look is affected. You are no longer attractive. Pray for nothing tomorrow. If you are not attractive, your husband will not look at your side. Oh, be speaking in tongue. If you are not looking well to yourself and you are looking attractive, your wife will not like to have anything to do with you. And before you know it, you are both on both sides, you are avoiding yourselves. And before you know it, the family is badly affected. When you see a Christian home where the man and the wife are growing apart, are drifting apart, and the bedroom is lacking, and their mutual love is drying off, go and watch that side. Either of the two, or both of the two, or both of them are having issue with emotional life. They are thinking their problem is unique. They are thinking their body is unique. They are thinking they're the only one suffering in the world. They are thinking the the economic issue in the city is affecting them alone. That you don't have money is not an excuse to be loving. That things are not going well financially well, or yet, or things are not doing your expectation for the marriage is not coming yet. The children are not coming. The school fees are not being paid. It's not enough reason to kill yourself. If you die, your spouse will live his life. If you die, the children will still live. Why not live a happy life? The Bible says the joy of the Lord is our strength. When we are happy, even though the problem are not solved yet, we encourage God to do it for us, because there cannot be faith where there is sadness. There cannot be faith where there is frowning. There cannot be faith where personal life is not taken care of. So be a happy person. Rejoice in the Lord. Otherwise, you become unattractive to your spouse. And before you know it, you might grow apart or drift apart. And care is not taken, the marriage might collapse. Even though you are still under the same roof, but it's collapsing already, because your burden, your emotional trouble is affecting the home. Don't allow that. The world and problem move hand in hand. God will solve one, down will come. That is life. And that's why don't allow your problem to affect your marriage. You are not alone. I would say, Jesus said, he said, be careful for nothing, but not. Paul says, be careful for nothing, but not to give thanks. And Jesus said, little flock, don't be afraid. I've overcome the world. Rejoice in his love, and let your home be happy. God bless you for this. I hope you have more questions next week. You can send in your questions, your peculiar situation, your marriages, and see how we can help find answer to it by God's grace. Thank you, and God bless you.